All right. Happy New Year, everyone. Love this festive state we're all in these days. So many good reasons. Heck, if you're alive, you ought to be celebrating it seems. Sheesh. Anyway, it's a perfect time as ever to get your resolutions up there and hopefully stick with them and accomplish something for yourself. Fortunately, I do have some ways of managing those. So I figured I'd share some of my choice techniques to stay on track and not fall off the rails come February. So let's dive right in.
Not fall off the rails.
Okay, first off, let me just say that it's entirely possible for anyone to do this, no matter where you are with your goals, motivation, self-esteem, your overall view of the world. You can absolutely accomplish your goals if you approach them with care and dedication. More importantly, your goals require your time, and time can be allocated. I personally learned this throughout the many years of trial and error and landed on a specific formula that has worked for me for the past 5 years or so. So let me guide you through. Step 0, turn your resolutions into goals. I think this one is pretty self-explanatory, but still, resolutions tend to be pretty vague, so you can't quite keep track of your success over a period of time. It's really just a matter of formulating your resolutions into something more measurable. Like instead of I'll write more music, write down I'll write 1 song a month this year, or I'll release an album this year. Instead of I'll start running, put down I'll run an X amount of miles every week. Anyway, you see where this is going. Now, step 1, keep an hourly calendar. Now, to some of you, this is probably, nothing new, but it's still necessary to state. I know I neglected this for the longest time back in my early 20s. And what it does, it gives you the ability to keep track of your day-to-day efforts. And this is crucial for your long-term success. Now, step 2, put a limit on your weekly work hours. Your body is not a machine, and it needs rest to be able to perform well, week after week, after week, after week. It is super important to have a set amount of your working hours to prevent burnout in the long run. Now, trust me, I definitely know a thing or two about that. It's okay if you start off with a number that feels right, and then you can tweak it later after you kind of tried it out and see if it works, if you're getting tired or not. It definitely took me a long while to find my sweet spot. I've been at 56 hours precisely per week for the past year or so, and that's been working out like really great for me. Before that, I've had plenty of weeks where I'd put in 70 plus hours a week for like several weeks in a row, and then I would just have my body shut down on me for like 3 days. It's like frustrating. This ends up being not only inefficient, but really it's taxing on your mental health. I'm pretty sure that was the reason that I kind of gave up on certain things over the years. So putting a weekly limit on your hours will keep you from overworking yourself and make you more efficient. Step 3, prepare yourself for the long haul. You should become mentally aware that things are not going to change overnight. To make any actual change in your life, you need to make many small steps over a large period of time. This is also known as the compound effect, and really any musician who is reasonably good at their instrument knows exactly what I'm talking about. No matter how small an effort may seem, if you do it long enough, it will have an effect. Now, the tricky part is to stay motivated, which leads me into the next step. Step 4, motivation. Motivation. The reason for air quotes there is that I sincerely stopped believing in motivation as being the main driver for any daily task or anything that you have to do over and over again. Planning things out is where I think the motivation counts a whole lot more than with the actual execution itself. Now, the real thing that drives execution is habit. Let me say that again. The real thing that drives the execution is habit. You need to develop habits in order to stay motivated. Now, what this really means is, let's take an example of practicing your instrument. So you'll sit down for a practice session and work on something you can't do just yet. And it'll suck. Then you go away, you'll sit down tomorrow again, and it'll still suck, but this time perhaps a tiny bit less. Maybe you'll take a day off, come back after that, and it'll feel like you're back at square one. Frustrating. this is really where you need to focus on the process and try to make things better at like such a micro level and really learn to find joy in these tiniest little improvements. This will pull you forward and make sitting through these rough patches much more bearable and sometimes enjoyable even. This will make you want to keep coming back, and you will develop a habit of working on your musicianship. And as a result of that, you'll keep getting better and better. And the same system applies for any goal you're trying to achieve. You just need to create a healthy habit of investing time towards your goal, and you'll achieve it. A couple of things I'd like to add though. It helps if you keep your space well optimized for any task that you're doing over and over again. You should make it so that you need as few steps as possible to start the task, whatever it may be. This will help the habit form much faster. Also, distractions can be so enticing these days with phones and whatnot, so you might want to put your phone in a do not disturb mode to keep your focus during your work. Step 5, recognize your Let's talk about the F word. It's absolutely inevitable that you will at some point on the way to achieving your goals. Do not expect a flawless journey. And I know this is easier said than done, but instead of being afraid of failures, I say embrace them. Failures make up an important piece of success. And all these false starts, unmet deadlines, rage quitting, depression, these are all important steps towards you finally reaching your goal. Don't get discouraged by them. Power through and put the hours in. Step 6, track your weekly progress. So it's a good tactic to write down what you did each week and what you'll do the next. And since you're already using your calendar, you'll have a clear idea on how many hours you put towards your goals. Just briefly summarize those and write them down. Maybe add what you worked on that week and what successes or failures you experienced. Then plan out the week ahead and schedule your calendar while you're at it. Personally, I have a Google Doc I share with my wife where we have a good sit down every Sunday where we kind of summarize each of our weeks and give each other feedback. It's definitely much more fun if you do it with someone. It also helps with accountability, so find someone you trust. Power tip, keep a 5-minute journal. Now this is an absolute beast of a tool. This is a 1-page journal, which won't take much time at all, and the rewards are just so there. You do it in the morning and in the evening before you go to bed for just a couple of minutes, and literally that's it. Super powerful. Now I'm not gonna go deep into it. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll leave a link down below if you want the digital version I made for myself. If you'd like, by all means use it. It's great, great stuff. Highly recommended. Anyways, to wrap up, here's my resolutions list, or should I say my list of goals for 2021. So, release a solo record. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one because I know I said this before, but I'm confident we'll finish it up this year. So that's going to be one major goal. Finish studio overhaul. Honestly, this should have been number 1. I do need to finish the studio overhaul that I started back in like August. It's been kind of challenging to find time for it, and we keep hitting these like little snags every now and then. You got to get something, you got to figure something out that needs extra work and extra hours, and yeah, it's a challenge, but it's going to get done pretty soon, and you'll be able to see every second of it. So yeah, really looking forward to that one. Practice 10 hours a week, and this is, it's already kind of there, especially once I finish the studio. I don't think this is going to be super difficult, but because I've been hovering around like 6 or 7 hours a week, and I do want to get that up. So it's nice, it's precise. I'll just block it off in my calendar and that's it. Reach 10K subs on YouTube. Now, this is something that I definitely think is achievable, but it's also gonna be really hard. So you could probably help me out by hitting that subscribe button. Thank you. So let's see what happens by the end of the year. Lose 20 pounds. Now, this is just like a personal thing of mine. I've done it before, and I'm sure many of us have gained like a few extra pounds during this whole COVID nonsense. So I think this is gonna be fairly easy to do. Well, let's see. Which leads us to the next one. Eat healthy at least 80% of the time. That's kind of tied in with the previous one. In general, in my case, that will be no carbs, no sugars, no junk food, all that stuff. And finally, learn to fly a drone. Now, this is just like a personal fun thing for me. I've always wanted to learn how to fly a drone. I've never done it before. I don't own a drone. So I guess step number 1 is going to be buy a drone. I'm not sure exactly what sort of metric I should keep for that, but let's say I would be happy if I could pull off one of those fancy 360 shots around an object. That would be nice to know. So that's my resolution list. It's like a mixed bag. There's definitely, you know, a few challenging things in there, but also like some less challenging, more fun. So let's see how these go, but I'm pretty confident I can manage all of these by the end of 2021. I'm curious to hear about your resolutions, and more importantly, I would like to hear from you guys on your techniques to keep these resolutions. Many of my techniques are self-taught or distilled from just personal experience, so depending on one's personality, I'm sure I'm missing some powerful tools and tips. I'm actually super curious to hear about your guys' specific techniques in tackling these sort of, it's almost like hardships of like growing teeth almost, right? So comment down below, let me know what you think. Let me know what your plans are, what you thought of the video. And make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, the notification bell, all that good stuff to help grow the channel. And thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you guys. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.